Check this out. This cocky law professor thinks he's gonna outsmart Senator John Kennedy, right? But man, it blows up in his face big time when those nasty old tweets from his past get dragged into the light. You gotta see this clip. It's gold.
Ant's Facebook page has more credibility than you do. I could spend the rest of the day reading your quotes where you make allegations against people and you can't defend them. Professor Painter, on May 5th of this year, you put out a tweet. You said, I'm going to quote, "There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's the Supreme Court." Would you tell me which members of the Supreme Court you believe are bought?
I was particularly concerned at that point when I posted that tweet.
I understand, but if you could, I've got really limited time, and I apologize for interrupting. Just tell me which members of the court you are bought.
I did not think that Justice Clarence Thomas should be failing to disclose his trips on a billionaire's
Do you think
yacht
he's
and
bought?
airplane.
Do you think he's bought?
I believe that there is grave risk.
Do you think he's bought?
I said there is grave risk.
Do you think he's bought?
To the confidence of the American people in our Supreme
Well, if
Court.
you don't think he's bought, why did you say it?
I said
Yes,
that
you said members of the Supreme Court are bought. You're here testifying as an expert for my Democratic friends, and you're saying the members of the Supreme Court are bought?
I said when the American people feel that way, when we have Supreme Court justices
feel that way?
on yachts and in planes of billionaires and not being disclosed.
Anybody besides Justice Thomas you think is bought on the Supreme Court?
I believe that the court needs to clean
Anybody
up
besides
its act.
Justice Thomas?
I'm not going to go through each
I mean,
justice.
you tweeted it.
I tweeted the way the American people feel.
Did you mean it when you tweeted it?
And I stand by that tweet. This Supreme Court of the United States needs to clean up its
Let me
act.
ask you a couple others here, because you've on September 17, 2020, you tweeted, "It looks like Putin's favorite senator could lose," referring to Senator Lindsey Graham. Could you tell me your evidence for saying that Senator Graham is President Putin's favorite senator?
I don't recall that tweet and the story.
Well, I've got it. It's
tweeted
right
out.
here. It's right here.
I'm happy to look at the tweet, and I'm happy to write you, explain that. I don't know what that has to do with climate change.
Well, it has to do with your credibility. Did you say, what is your basis for saying that Senator Graham is President Putin's? I mean, have you ever talked to President Putin?
I have not talked to President Putin, and I would be happy to go look at the tweet and look at the story that I tweeted out and what Senator Graham had said in that context. You know, this is something
you say all this stuff. For example, you're here as an expert for my Democratic friends, and you say all this stuff. You called on September 16, 2023, a professor at the University of Chicago, very distinguished professor, Brian Leiter. You called him a racist. Can you explain to me why you think he's a racist?
I remember a series of tweets with him. He's a Marxist who put out a number of statements attacking African Americans and women. And he also was raising money for someone who had called the police on a black student for sleeping in the common room, and now has a wokekkk.com website attacking me.
That's fair enough.
So
fair enough.
I will just say one thing that I learned in high school debate, that when you have no argument, you simply change the subject.
All right. On October 15th of 2020, you said Lindsey Graham is soliciting cash payments in return for voting on a Supreme Court nomination. What evidence, that's a pretty bold statement, Professor. What evidence do you have for alleging that Senator Graham was taking cash in return for one of his votes?
I don't recall that specific tweet,
Here it
but
is,
I
right
do.
Here it is.
I do recall And I
Do you think he was taking cash for one of his votes?
I have received campaign.
Do you think he was taking cash for one of his votes?
I'm answering your question, Senator. I have received solicitations from both political parties.
Do you think Lindsey Graham was taking cash for one of his votes? It's a simple question,
I have
Professor.
received cash solicitations for cash on my email. And yes, from both political parties in connection with Supreme Court confirmation votes.
Well, I'm out of time,
wrong.
but let me just say for the record,
It's wrong.
my aunt's Facebook page has more credibility than you do. I could spend the rest of the day reading your quotes where you make allegations against people and you can't defend them.
You've said nothing about climate change. You quoted everybody from a Marxist to all sorts of other people. This has absolutely nothing to do with the topic of the hearing.
Remember back in the day when teachers and professors weren't supposed to shove their political takes or personal biases down your throat in class? Yeah, those days are long gone. Now, you walk into any lecture hall, and boom, you know exactly where your prof stands on everything from elections to who's in their bed. Kids shouldn't have a clue about that stuff. I've got buddies who studied abroad, especially in Germany, and they say it's no joke over there. Strict rules, if a teacher even hints at their politics, they're out the door, fired on the spot. But here, we've got this law prof firing off these wild tweets on social media, and you just know he's doing the same crap in the classroom, twisting everything to fit his agenda. Stuff like, I don't get how Clarence Thomas even made it to the Supreme Court. He's bought and paid for. A total Russian asset. Come on, dude. You're smart. Sure, educated as hell. But stick to the facts. Leave the hot takes at home. Is that really asking too much? Kennedy's got every right to grill him on those old posts. The prof keeps dodging, saying it's irrelevant. Nah, man, it's all relevant. Shows exactly what kind of guy he is. A straight-up political hack. Nothing more.
I want to try to understand the facts on some of these cases.
Yes, sir.
The Albertus Lewis case. He shot his girlfriend in the head. Is that correct?
Senator, as I stated, I'm not sure if you were in here earlier, that case is still pending. He's not been convicted of any of those charges. And so I have to be really careful in how I frame my question.
Did he shoot his girlfriend in the head?
Senator, based on, those are the allegations of the charge, yes.
So you're saying he didn't shoot his girlfriend in the head?
He has not been convicted of anything, is my understanding. And I know it's a very old case, it's 2017.
Well, when you granted him bond, did you think he had shot his girlfriend in the head? He was charged with shooting his girlfriend in the head, wasn't he?
Thank you, Senator.
You're welcome.
Those are the allegations. When he initially appeared before me,
Okay.
I denied his bond based on everything.
Let me start over, okay? Mr. Lewis was charged and arrested, so presumably there was probable cause, with shooting his girlfriend in the head and putting her body in a wheelchair and dumping her outside the hospital. Those were the allegations. Is that right?
I believe those were the allegations, yes, sir.
Okay. And you gave Mr. Lewis bond. Is that right?
No, that's incorrect, Senator. I denied his bond. When he appeared before me in July of 2017.
So you didn't give him bond? He didn't release him?
I denied his bond. It was 2 years late.
Did you ultimately release him?
2 years later, after the state violated the
Did you
court's
grant
order.
his bond? I'm just trying to understand the facts.
Yes, sir. 2 years later, after the
You granted
state.
his bond.
When he initially appeared before me, I denied the bond. It was 2 years after
Okay.
that I granted a bond.
You did grant the bond.
After the violation by the
Right.
state of the court order to try his case and discovery rules.
And then he went out and tried to kill 2 sheriff's deputies while using a baby as a human shield, allegedly. Is that right?
Those are the allegations in the other case, yes.
Okay. Would he been able to do that if you hadn't let him go?
Thank you, Senator.
You're welcome.
When he appeared before me, I denied his bond. He appeared before me again, at which point
And you let him go?
the state violated his The state violated the order of the court.
But I'm just
And I
trying to
said a
understand the facts.
sufficiently
You
high
let him
bond.
go. If you hadn't have let him go, then he could not have tried to kill 2 sheriff's deputies using a child, as a human shield. Factually, is that correct?
I'm not sure, Senator.
Oh, I think you are. Let me ask you about Kelly Honeywell. You remember that name?
Senator, I did not have any involvement in that actual case, but I am familiar with what you're referring to.
Okay. You remember Troy Stevenson?
Yes.
All right. Troy Stevenson was arrested, allegedly, for shooting Kelly Honeywell, killing her, murdering her at a bakery. Mr. Honeywell was arrested. And Mr. Honeywell allegedly was a member of a gang. He owned guns, and he did drugs. Okay? You granted Mr. Stevenson bail. Is that right?
I didn't, in that case, I did not set bail bond in that case when he was charged with murder.
You didn't let him go?
I did not set the bond on the murder charge.
Who did?
I don't know who's, one
Then
of
how
my
did he
colleagues.
get out of jail?
Are you asking about the murder charge?
What I'm asking, and I think you know what I'm asking, Mr. Stevenson allegedly was arrested for shooting this bakery worker in the head, and he was granted bail. He was let out. You didn't grant the bail?
No, sir.
You almost want to bust out laughing at this, but then you're like, how the hell does this even happen? How do you cut loose a repeat offender criminal like this wild dude back onto the streets? And props to her for that killer question. You mean the murder charge? 'Cause, this guy's got a laundry list of them. Which one's got you so twisted? If it's just one charge, okay, maybe a slip up. 2, you might skate by. But when you're racking them up over and over, that's a red flag screaming danger zone. This guy's a walking risk. No way he belongs out here with the rest of us. Hasn't learned a damn thing, no rehab sticking, nothing. And get this, he straight up used a baby as a human shield. What kind of twisted, gutless freak does that? Babies are supposed to be protected at all costs, not some disposable prop to hide behind. Total coward move. Lock somebody like that up in Guantanamo or ship him off to an El Salvador lockup for a few years. Bet he'd figure it out real quick after that. Look, if you're the one calling the shots on bail, that's huge responsibility. You're the gatekeeper deciding if this clown gets to roam free again. Can't just rubber stamp everybody out the door. There've gotta be standards. And she blew it here. What do you think, folks? Should she get held accountable for unleashing this monster back on us? Or is it all on him once he's out? Drop your takes below. I want to hear them. If you dug this, smash that like button, comment up, subscribe, and hey, catch y'all next time. Stay awesome.